The battle is on in Can-Am Grand National Cross Country Racing. 2009 GNCC champ Paul Whibley had a tough run of it at their opener in Florida, but struck back for revenge with a win in Georgia. Our new champ Josh Strang on the left, he's not happy and he wants to win today. All right, it's on from the Steele Creek Campground in North Carolina. GNCC Racing brought to you by Can-Am. I'm Jason Wygant, your host of Racer TV, and I am not alone. A huge crowd packing into this campground. First of all, the place looks really cool. Second of all, it's a great place to race. And third of all, we have an epic championship fight beginning to develop as we go into the third round of our 13-race Grand National Cross Country Tour. So plenty of reasons for all these people to be here. Get your autographs, get ready while the riders are in a good mood right now, because they will be riding with anger once we wave the green flag in this one. With so many contenders for this year's championship early on, the key is going to be consistency, and Paul Whibley was able to dig out a good finish on his bad day and then win on his good one. For more, let's go to Krista Shaw in the pits.
All right, Paul Whibley, they say you win championships on your bad days. You're able to salvage some points in Florida after some bad luck. And your race win last week in Georgia put you back in contention for the championship.
Yeah, that was exactly what we needed after the round one sort of bad luck we had there. So we're sort of back in the hunt now, back in I think third place in the XC1 class. So but from now on, I'm going to be really consistent, get podiums every weekend, and keep those points building and kind of try to move towards the points lead.
All right, that's Whibley, the New Zealander, who was the 2009 GNCC champ. We'll give you the Racer TV track facts today. We've got an 11-mile course, and we're probably going to do 8 laps. We're thinking it's going to be just over 20 minutes per lap in 3 hours of GNCC racing. Let's get ready, and let's go. Short drag race from the turn one. Josh Strang going to get out front. It was Jimmy Jarrett of the Geico Honda down on the inside of turn one, so Strang has got some money from Motorsport for grabbing your whole shot on his FMF Makita Suzuki. And his rival, Charlie Mullins, the winner of our opener in Florida, right behind him, so 2 of the favorites up front. You just saw the number 3 of Whibley. He is toward the back. Don't worry about it. Like we said, we're going to do 8 laps in 3 hours today. So fitness, endurance, strategy are going to be a much bigger factor today than starts. And you see the ups and down hills. That's a factor we haven't yet had to deal with in 2011. Our openers in Florida and Georgia, relatively flat lands. Got to be careful today to find the right line through these ruts. Jimmy Jarrett just came by, so he's picked himself up from that first turn crash and is back in contention. But right now it's Josh Strang finally looking like the man who won the championship last year. I know that the first 2 rounds were not exactly what he wanted. He's got a pair of FMF KTMs, Mullins and Buttrick behind him. Then it's Thad Duvall, Mike Lafferty, Ursimo Kürsi out of Finland. We're back to the starting line for our XC2 class for 250cc bikes. Duking it out. Your series points leader. No, I thought if Shane O'Bandy could grab the whole shot, I thought it was going to be Stuart Baylor. Now Baylor into the lead. So Shane O'Bandy grabbed the start. Probably still pumped over a few extra dollars in his pocket. Blew it through turn 2. So the young kid out of South Carolina, Stuart Baylor, into the lead. Back up front, overall, and the XC1 class for 450 Strang. Look at how whooped out this section is. Looks like a motocross track more than an off-road race. That's all right. Strang does most of his practice on the moto track out in California, so he's okay with this. And he and Mullins, I think they're already trying to sprint away from this field. So I take back what I said earlier, the start didn't matter. Please, if you're Paul Whibley and you're back outside the top 10, you got a long way to go to catch this guy. As Strang hustles over the Steele Creek Bridge for the first time today, there's Mullins, there's Buttrick, there is Duval. So Duval and Buttrick, two of the youngest riders in this tour. They've each got a couple of GNCC Youth Championships under their belt from when they were racing on mini cycles. And now that they're pros, they're trying to keep up with Mullins and Strang, who really aren't much older than them. These guys are all in their early 20s. They are fit, they are strong, they are tough, and you've got to be all those things today. It is cold, and when you run through those creeks, man, it's tempting to just say, you know, this is a nice day to just curl up with a newspaper or a good book. Maybe I'll go riding when the weather's perfect, but you know, you don't have those options. You got to be tough to race off-road, and these four are the toughest. Not bad, though, for Lafferty right there with them on the Husaberg. Lafferty is a veteran, multi-time enduro champ. Hasn't raced this series full-time in a while. He's back this year, showing his old form. Onto the grass track, and look at how slippery it is here. Not any grass left. It is just clay. And you've really got to be careful with the application of power. You see Kersey there on the outside going to try to find a berm. A little bit further back, we find Whibley. He's looking to make up ground. He is battling with Caleb Russell, last year's champ in that 250 XC2 division. Now riding the KTM 350. Got battles all over the place. Stay with us. Well, the great thing about Can-Am Grand National Cross Country Racing, we have classes for everyone. We get ATVs out here on Saturdays, and then we bring the bikes out on Sundays. And we do not just race pros. Everything from utility ATVs to the women's class, classes for youth riders as young as age 6, and a super senior class that goes over age 50. And that's just for the ATVs. And we do the same thing on the bikes on Sundays. So check us out when we're in your neck of the woods. Don't just come watch, come race. Got a change in the lead here. Charlie Mullins has wrestled the lead away from Josh Strang. Thad Duval second on the Yamaha. Strang back to third. Then it's Buttrick, Lafferty, Simo Kersey, and Jimmy Jarrett, who is down in the first turn, has brought his Geico Honda back up toward the top 5. So Jarrett may be the fastest man out here of all. I like what I'm seeing from Thad Duval. Consistent so far this year. Had a shot at the win at our last race in Georgia. Was content with a podium finish. And that has been what he is missing. Bad Thad has always been bad fast, but he has also been just straight bad when it comes to being consistent. Now he's hooking on with Mullins, going to try to learn some lessons. Mullins was second in this championship last season, and he battled Strang tooth and nail for it. And these guys like Duval and Buttrick here, they know if they can just battle with Strang and Mullins, they're going to learn those little tricks down the stretch that are the difference between just merely going fast and delivering solid finishes. Deep into the woods here for Mullins. And Mullins won the Enduro Championship last year. It's a different series where they run a little bit tighter tracks. They don't run handlebar to handlebar. They run on the clock. So Mullins has really stepped up his game in the tight terrain like this. And it could pay off here. Now we get back into the open stuff. You've got to be versatile to win GNCCs. Look at Duval running the outside line through the whoops, keeping his momentum up. And those two have pulled away. Man, when Strang got the lead, I thought he was going to put the hammer down, but instead they have turned the tables on him. He and Buttrick are going to have to work together if they want to get a shot at the 112 of Mullins. Mullins, born and raised in Ohio, now makes his racing home in Hickory, North Carolina, but in the off-season spends a lot of time down in the sand of Florida to get in shape. Josh Strang, an Australian who now rides and trains out in California. Another Ohio native, that is Buttrick. West Virginia is home for Duval, who's lost a couple of spots. And we finally see Caleb Russell on the radar. Russell won the last 2 XC2 championships for 250s. We mentioned that before the break. Now moving up to the big class for the first time. Russell also now a North Carolina native, but also originally from Ohio. In case you haven't figured it out yet, Ohio is a hotbed for off-road racing in the U.S. Looks like Strang has climbed up into the number 2 position, and no panic early on in a 3-hour race. He'll be content to just stay reasonably close to Mullins and then try to use his fitness to pull out the win. And he has been able to do that on Mullins a few times the last couple of years. Mullins seems stronger than ever this year. A couple of weeks ago, our season opener in Florida, sand track, probably the most energy-sapping terrain of all. And down the stretch, Mullins had the endurance, and he pulled that one out with brute strength. He wants to do it again today. relaxed posture of Strang through these ruts. He's one of the taller guys out here, and through the ruts, it's usually a disadvantage. You got those long legs. You see the work he had to put in to get those out of the way. You do not want to catch an ankle, or you'll be riding in pain for the rest of the day. Let's hop on. Barry Hawk gonna run our AMSOIL helmet cam. Taking on some roost, trying to keep up with Strang. You can hear the engine. Really hard to maintain traction at any kind of consistent pace out here. And speaking of Suzuki, one of their bikes, the RMZ 450 of Josh Strang, back into the lead. So Strang made a mistake early, lost the lead to Charlie Mullins, and has now gotten it back. And I don't see anyone else. This might have already boiled down to just a two-horse race. Strang and Mullins trying to pull away, and man, are these conditions nasty. These tree roots with mud thrown on top, that is like riding on ice. And these guys have to resist the urge and just try to blitz each other. You've got to be consistent and not throw it away. Into the pits we go, and out. Is Strang going to stop for fuel or not? Yes, he is. Mullins, they wave him through, so Mullins going to take the lead via not stopping for fuel. Hope he can make it a whole nother lap. We've got 20-minute lap times here today, so you're taking your chances. Strang knows what he's got to do. He's upping the pace. If he can get close to Mullins, and Mullins pits the next time around, he'll take the lead back. Corey Buttrick in third, losing just a little bit of ground. Nothing to be ashamed of. Over the last few years, when Mullins and Strang hook up, they can put a pace down that no one else can match. Sure is fun to watch. Strang doing a good job. He has closed up most of the gap that he lost by pitting. So theoretically, he will be able to retake the lead when we go to the pits, but we've got a couple of more miles before we get back there, and Mullins has an opportunity to maybe pull it back out. Go back to Buttrick in third. We had a torrid battle between a bunch of riders early. We now hear Thad Duvall has crashed out of this one, so that leaves Buttrick all alone in third. There's Caleb Russell in fourth, and their teammate Charlie Mullins leading the way. So right now, 3 FMF KTMs in the top 4, with this one lone Suzuki of Josh Strang in second. And Strang does have a teammate who's supposed to race the XC2 class on the 250. That's Josh Weisenfels. But Weisenfels twisted his ankle before the series began, so right now, solo effort in the truck for Strang. Let's watch Buttrick on the 350 KTM roll across the creek. Buttrick and Russell riding 350s. There's Russell. Mullins prefers the 450. Been riding a 450 the last few years in this tour. Probably a little easier transition to the 350 for a guy like Russell, who rode the 250 the last couple of seasons. Well, good news for Mullins. He has made it in and out of his pit stop without losing the lead to Josh Strang. We're up to lap 6 now, and Strang gonna have to start getting desperate. 2 laps to go, lap traffic all over the place, and that might help him because Mullins knows the first rider that gets to the lappers usually gets held up the worst. Once they get lapped by the leader, then they know to start moving over. So Mullins going to have to just keep fighting, keep pushing. Don't let the negative thoughts get in your head. Don't let the lappers, the rough track, or the pressure from Josh Strang enter your mind at all. Just keep riding your own race. They'll hit the white flag the next time we get around. We are over 2.5 hours into this, and I thought it was going to be a back and forth, but really the last hour or so, Mullins has been able to maintain his pace, maintain the lead, and not make any mistakes on the grass track. Let's watch Mullins negotiate this here. Very slippery, this section, but you look at that, perfect the way he rounds the corner. But Strang is closer than he's been in a while, and you've got to wonder about the strategy of Strang. We have seen him strike in the last lap several times the last few years, and he has put himself in position. He's putting the pressure on Charlie Mullins. 1 lap to go, 11 miles separating us from a checkered flag. Who's going to take it? Mullins versus Strang. Stay with us. Drag race through the pits, and I mean drag race. Pedal to the metal, everything these guys got. Charlie Mullins, Josh Strang, another classic one-on-one duel. And look at Strang putting all kinds of pressure on. He's been waiting to strike. This is gonna be like a full-on motocross sprint through the woods. Nice line there by Mullins. He'll split the lapper and put some more distance between himself and Strang. Now, through the years, Mullins has struggled at times in these conditions. However, as we saw in Florida, fitness not an issue. We've seen him make mistakes, but not today. Look at this. Down the stretch, pulling away from Strang. Mullins been working hard with his trainer, Rob Beams. He feels strong. No doubt Strang's strong. He's trained by 5-time GNCC champion Rodney Smith. This is the best of the best in woods racing in the world. And what a display they have put on to go, 2 hours and 45 minutes at this point. At this pace, no huge mistakes, no huge crashes on a track this unforgiving. All right, Mullins got a totally different line. He's on the inside, Strang on the outside, and Strang just books it across that creek. That looked like fast forward through there. Got to work our way back uphill, now into the flatlands. Over the back of the bike, this section is whooped out, but it's also so slippery. Got to do everything you can to keep the bike in line. Look at how hard Strang is hitting these corners, and Mullins able to answer every time. Unbelievable, just fun to sit back and listen to these guys ring these 450s out in the woods. Slippery ground, it doesn't matter. Look at this. Strang trying to make a move on the outside. Mullins has got him blocked. We're into the final stretch, this grass track section. There is plenty of room to make a pass. Strang stuffed the front end. Still manages to stay close, down to the inside. Mullins able to maintain the lead. Does Strang have any other spots picked out? Only about 3-4 corners separating them from the finish line. Strang on the outside, cuts back, loses the back end. Mullins makes it, Mullins goes down. No, 1 corner to go, and Strang is going to win. A heartbreaker for Mullins, who had it. In the last corner, he goes down and throws away the victory. Corey Buttrick is happy to just finish on the podium today. High drama here in North Carolina. Let's send it down to Krista on the podium.
Corey Buttrick, it's your first podium finish for the season. What a great race out there today. Take us through your day.
Got off to a really good start. I was behind Charlie and Josh, so I was pretty happy with that, and I just did the best I could to stay in third. Charlie was riding really well. He started pulling away, and then I know Josh started making up some ground on him, and I just kind of stayed steady. I mean, I had a couple pretty good saves. I scared myself a couple times, but it was a really fun day. Big thanks to KTM, my mechanic Tony, KTM, my girlfriend, mom and dad. Everybody, I appreciate it.
It's good to see you back up here.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
There are your final results. Whibley only able to make it back up to 5th. Jarrett 7th after the first turn crash. Let's send it down to Charlie Mullins. This guy's hurting.
Charlie, tell us what happened in the very last turn out there in the race.
Yeah, I just lost the front end, and I thought I had it, and 1 turn to go, lost the front end, and it was a good battle with Strang, and I was able to hold him off the last lap, but there's no words right now how I'm feeling. I'm pretty disappointed in myself.
It's good to be back up on the podium though, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's good points for sure, but really wanted that win, and just kind of pretty hard on myself right now. I'm having a hard time dealing with it, but there's next weekend, and I'll just work hard and put in a ride like I did today, and I should be good.
Great job out there.
Thanks.
And you look at the DWT point standings, and Strang now in the lead, so a big swing on the track and in the standings. Josh Strang back on top.
All right, Josh Strang finally getting your first win of the season. What a crazy race out there. Take us through your day.
Yeah, I mean, today started good. I got a good start, and the track actually turned out to be perfect in the end. The rain last night ended up making the track as good as I've ridden it ever here, and it was fun. I mean, Charlie got in front of me after I got the start, and then he kind of checked out a little bit in the last 3 laps. Him and I were battling, and I got lucky, and he went down on the very last corner. So I mean, it was a good race. I wouldn't have been happy with second, but I felt I rode good, but I'll take the win. So it was good.
Congratulations on your first win.
Thank you.
And the XT2 class, Jason Thomas on the Fred Andrews Husqvarna takes the victory. Andrew DeLong and Brad Back, and a couple of newcomers to this series, 2nd and 3rd. Expect to see those guys up on the podium as the year goes on. Can-Am race recap. bunch of riders battling for the lead up front. You had guys like Thad Duvall in the mix with Mullins, Strang, Buttrick, Russell. But down the stretch, there was just no answer for the offensive that Mullins and Strang put on. They pulled a big gap. They basically settled it between the two of them, and this time it looked like Mullins had it. With 1 lap to go, Strang was putting pressure on, but Mullins refused to yield. It was like a motocross lap, the final 11 miles through this circuit. They were dueling, going inside, outside of each other. Strang doing everything he could to try to take the lead, and Mullins simply not relenting. And then when Strang lost the back end, we thought it was over until Mullins lost the front end, and Strang cruised by to victory. Now the question is, can Mullins bounce back? We'll find out next week. For Krista Shaw, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching.